Last time I worked on this was about 3.5 weeks ago because I went on vacation for a couple weeks. Came back, my wife had COVID. I had symptoms, but I did not test positive. But nevertheless, I missed a week because I didn't feel well. And now, to be quite honest, I have concerns that because of what happened with that intake manifold and the antifreeze leak, that I'm going to have problems again with the leaking of the manifold. It's been sitting for 3.5 weeks. I know when I put the manifold on, or not the manifold, the Sniper EFI, I didn't tighten anything up. I just put it on hurriedly because I was getting ready to go on vacation and had things to do, and so trying to tighten the heater hose connection at the manifold. Takes a 6 metric socket, but it's really hard to get it on there because there's no clearance between the socket and the clamp. So I may have to end up using a screwdriver on it. There is a slot for it. I am going to use a screwdriver. I think I can do a better job that way. Let's see how this works. I already put the tightened the fuel line connection to the Sniper with an 11/16 wrench. That's a 6AN fitting on there. I think that's good enough, but at any rate, that one's easy to get to. If it leaks a little bit when I fire it up. I didn't put the clamps on anything, and I think I need to, well, I know I need to put gasket cement on that gasket and tighten that down. And then there's all the wires to the Sniper. Probably not the best angle to be doing this at, but it's the one that blocks the video the least. So a lot of extra work that I did because of the fiasco with the instructions on the tightening of the manifold to the heads. Thanks to the head manufacturer. Okay, and I did not put a thermostat in there yet. And now I'm really concerned because I don't know what level I left the antifreeze at almost a month ago. But it looks like it might be a little bit low, and if you recall, on the second try of the, oh yeah, it's leaking again. It's, unless I didn't fill it. Huh. I don't know what I did. Did I fill that? I'm going to have to go back and check my videos and see if I can determine whether or not I filled that, because if you recall, on the second try on putting the intake manifold on, I got the AFR, well, I had them, but I used the AFR intake manifold gaskets, and I put them on according to what their technical support told me that morning, which was to put the sealant side toward the head. And when I did that, the holes for the two center bolts on each side didn't line up, so I quickly pulled it off, put some more sealant on it, and put it on the right way. But boy, I don't know if, is there any way I can find out whether there's water in there, antifreeze in there. Here's the problem. Since I wanted any antifreeze that was in there to drain out, I left the oil filter plug out. Not oil filter, the oil drain plug out. And because I've been gone away from this for almost a month, it's possible that antifreeze leaked out and evaporated, and I can't tell. I honestly do not remember whether or not I had filled that. I have to think about this for a while, see if I can figure out how I could check that, other than going back to my videos and seeing if I actually videoed putting some fluid in there. I can't imagine that I put that EFI back on without testing that. Well, here's what I've decided. The only way I can guarantee whether or not that's leaking down or not is to fill it up again and check it in a day or two. I honestly don't remember putting the antifreeze in. My memory of how much antifreeze I had in my bottles when this fiasco started seems like I have about the same amount. So I am gonna put some in there. I put a catch can under the oil drain, and we'll fill her up and see whether it's leaking. In the meantime, I guess I will try and get some other work accomplished that won't interfere with me taking this apart again if necessary. So I'm going to be ticked if I have to take this apart again, because what I'm going to think the problem was the bad directions they gave me in installing those their AFR's intake manifold gaskets. So it didn't take very much to fill that up. Unfortunately, it seems like as you pour it, you can see it go up, and then as you stop pouring and it settles down, so I won't be able to have a very accurate assessment of this till I let it set for some hours maybe and see whether it goes down, because so where we are is I know that I filled up the antifreeze before I put that intake manifold back on to the lip of the port in the head. So that part should be okay. In other words, I don't think it's leaking from the head, but I really do have concerns about the intake manifold. And seeing how little it took for me to fill that up, I don't have confidence that, you know, my quick look at how much antifreeze I had in the bottles is an accurate gauge of anything, because it didn't take very much, so I could have filled it before and had it drain out, and I'm not sure I could tell from that quantity left in the antifreeze bottles. So I'm going to put the lid back on this. And I guess this is the radiator cap when I say lid. I guess the best thing I can say for now is, at least I know that I have put antifreeze in there, and if it's gone in the morning, I'll know there's an internal leak again here. But I really couldn't remember, and I didn't go review the videos again, although while I was sick I tried to review them a little bit, and I never did find a place that showed where I filled it. So because of jiggling the car around and everything, I don't think I'll be able to tell anything by looking at that real quick. So I'm going to just quickly put the water neck back on with the gasket, slip the hose over, and then go do something else. When I get this finally done, and that's one thing that leads me to believe maybe I didn't ever put antifreeze in here, is that I didn't have the thermostat in there, and I didn't put sealant on it, so I don't know. I don't hear any dripping into my catch can yet, so maybe there's hope. At any rate, I'm not going to do any more connection of the EFI, since I may have to take it back off again. See, I don't think I even had that neck on anything more than finger tight. I don't think I even put a socket on it because of how it was actually wiggling when I was trying to remove the hose this morning. And I knew that I had left this with something to do because I didn't tighten the clamps on pretty much any of the hoses. So let me stop this video and see what else I can work on and possibly get something accomplished today. So it's been a couple hours since I put that in there, and I put the catch can under the oil pan, and that right there, that square thing, that's where the oil drain plug comes. And when I came down this morning and looked under the car, that had a drip of antifreeze under it. So it's been a couple hours and there is no, the plug isn't in there. So I want to be able to see if something's leaking down. So it's been a couple hours because I put the front crash bumper on, and I don't see evidence of a drip starting there, so our camera doesn't want to focus beyond a certain point, but there's no evidence of a drip. So maybe I just forgot to put, or didn't forget, but I didn't put the antifreeze in there, and I just forgot that I didn't do it. Here's hoping. Okay, it's the next day, and the coolant has been sitting in that engine for 21, 22 hours. And I checked the drain plug underneath. Doesn't appear to be any antifreeze dripping out. So I'm a little bit optimistic that maybe I just forgot to put fluid in there. It's down just a hair, but I have had put the car up and down on the lift a few times, so if there was any bubbles in there, it could have moved that much. Wondering what I ought to do. Like I said, the jostling of the car could have caused some air bubbles to burp out, and it's down just a hair. And there's no sign of it leaking into the oil pan, because if it were, it should have come down. And by down I mean out of the drain pan, out of the drain hole. Just wondering if the prudent thing would be to let it sit some more, see if it drops further, or whether I should chance it and fill it up and go. It's really puzzling to me. So I decided that I was going to add a little more fluid, and I've got yard work I can do today. So I'm not going to move the lift, not going to move the car. I've bounced on it some to make sure that, you know, if there was any bubble that was close to popping out, that I could get it out. And I'm going to devote the day to the yard work and come back and check this out again tomorrow. Now, the one thing that I do have a concern about is antifreeze does evaporate, and it is open. So how much can evaporate from that little hole in 24 hours or so? I don't know. But I'm going to play it safe, because the more I put together, if I end up having to take it apart, the more work I have to do to take it apart. So I want this to be pretty much a positive thing by the time I put that thermostat in and make the final connections for the radiator hose and all the sniper stuff, and put the distributor back in and all that stuff. So I'm going to leave it for today and hope for good results tomorrow. So it's the next day now. Again, about 20 some hours of that setting, and the coolant level appears to be exactly where I left it. I went to check my gasket sealant for water pumps and thermostat housings, and it's hard as a rock. At least at the connection, I can't get anything out of it. So finishing that up is going to have to wait till I get to a parts store to get some new. This camera doesn't want to focus with all that chrome. At any rate, I think we're good. It's a good thing that I didn't panic and start tearing things apart, and thought about it and came up with the idea of fill it up again and see if it goes down again, because apparently raising and lowering the car on the lift burped a bubble out and caused it to be low. So can't work on that today. I'll have to find something else to work on.